Started my journey from Thrissur at 11:45 and we reached Pathanamthitta KSRTC bus stand by around 4:15. Bus fare was 168 per person from Thrissur to Pathanamthitta.
Pathanamthitta KSRTC bus stand, and time is almost 4:30. I've just reached here and we are expecting the bus to Gavi at around 6:30 in the morning. Bus to Gavi has arrived.
Bus fare from Pathanamthitta to Kumily would be 149 per head. This is a list of places which we would be travelling through, and this is the route map of the place which we would be going through. Those of you who would be travelling by your own vehicle, either car or jeep, will have to register on the online website, for which the link would be provided in the description. It is ₹60 per head, and further you will have to pay something close to 200 rupees per vehicle at the check post. And there are restrictions to the number of vehicles which can go in a day. On the left you have the Pampa river flowing. I would recommend travelling by KSRTC bus itself, for the reason that there are restrictions to the number of vehicles which can go through in a day, and above all that, at certain portions the roads are very bad that even the foundations are actually loose, not just the top layer of the tarmac but even the foundations. And therefore it would be advisable to come to Pathanamthitta either by bus or by train to Tiruvalla, and from there by taxi or whatever you choose. We reached Angamuri, a place en route, that is where the KSRTC bus stops for breakfast. We went to Hotel Kaveri, where the food was cheap, tasty and neat. Choice of food was limited to idli, appam and parota. Seating capacity is limited and certainly not for a full bus. Now the journey into the dense forest begins, and as you can see, the road is getting narrower. It's just a single lane, and you find trees on either side, and quite often it's like a canopy almost throughout. Although it is March, and when it is a little dry, if you are lucky, you would get to watch some wildlife. Most likely elephants. Then you may also be able to see Malabar giant squirrels. Then you may get a chance to see some deers. And if you are fortunate, you may even get to see tiger and leopard. After all, Periyar Tiger Reserve is around this place. This would be a 6-hour non-stop bus journey. Of course, you would get a 20 minutes break for breakfast in the morning, and somewhere around the Kakki Dam you would get another 5 to 10 minutes break. But otherwise, 6 hours you would be sitting in the bus and watching the forest, through the forest. Now the roads are not as good as it was before. In fact, you don't find the linings on the road. approaching the Muliar Dam, and here we have a door of KSCB out here. This is the most important place in this journey. You find the Kaki Dam, and the entire trip, this is the main spot which you should not miss. It's a beauty. Besides Angamuli, where we stopped for the breakfast, this is the next place where the bus halted for about 5 to 10 minutes. In all other places, maybe there were people getting down or people boarding in, but bus never really halted there. But this is the only place. And have a look at this. We travel around the Kaki Dam, and in the end we go above the shutters of the Kaki Dam. In case of Kochupampa Dam as well as the Gavi Dam, we don't actually go above it, we go beside it.
ഇതിൻ്റെ അവിടെ അല്ലേ?
Now we are reaching the Vallakadavu checkpost. This is a checkpost which is closer to the Kumily side. We are stopped here and now guards would come for inspection, followed by which the checkpost would be open for us to go. Gavi Eco-Tourism Center. This is a place around which you will have provisions for night stay or day trekking, etc., which is organized by the Forest Department.
From there you reach Vandi Periyar, and from there you reach Kumily. By the time you reach Kumily, it would be around 12:45 in the afternoon. I had my lunch from a nearby restaurant, and it was quite inexpensive, all the same. From Kumily, I returned back to Thrissur. However, I would suggest you to actually try visiting Periyar Tiger Reserve, which is in Thekkady. From Kumily, autos can be hired for something like 25 rupees to the bus boarding point. From where the Periyar Tiger Reserve runs buses for the tourists to the boating area. However, for the boating, the tickets have to be booked online, and it would cost you something like 240 rupees per person. So once you complete the boat ride at Thekkady, you could even perhaps think about going to Parindumpara, which is about 25 kilometers from there. So that would be another spot if you wanted to. However, Thekkady seems to be a don't miss point, which you definitely should try, especially if you were to do the bus ride, because by the time you return by the bus, it's just 12:45, and around 1:15 to 1:30 you should be free. So definitely you could visit Thekkady as well before returning back. But in my case, after returning at Kumily, had my lunch and then returned back to Thrissur. And by the time I reached Thrissur, it was around 8:30 in the evening. And I would describe it this way. Of about 22 hours of bus journey, almost 18 hours I was sitting in the bus. That's it. Thank you. And this whole trip costed me only 1,400 inclusive of food and travel for two of us. Just 1,400. That is about 700 rupees per person.